You flip a switch tonight and the room fills with light. You don't think about it. You never do. But turn that switch off, sit in the dark for 60 seconds, and something in your chest tightens. Your ears sharpen. Your eyes strain for shapes that aren't there. Why does a room with no light in it feel so different from the same room an hour earlier, full of sun? Fear of the dark doesn't really fade with age. It just gets quieter, hiding behind adult words like unease. But the wiring underneath is the same wiring that made you beg for a nightlight as a child. And that wiring is far older than you are. Older than cities, older than fire itself. Here's the strange part. Darkness cannot hurt you. There is no danger in the absence of light. Yet your body reacts as if there is. This is not a flaw. It's a memory, older than any memory you can consciously recall. Go back 200,000 years. Your ancestors stand on a grassland at dusk. One moment there's enough light to see a lion's outline. The next moment there's none. And out there are the actual predators that hunted actual humans. Leopards, hyenas, animals built to see in low light, built to hunt the exact hour your ancestors went blind. For most of our history, humans were not the top of the food chain. We were something closer to prey. And prey that ignored the dark rarely got a second chance. So think about what evolution rewards here. Not the calm one who says, "I'm sure it's fine." The anxious one. The one who hears a branch snap and freezes. Wrong 9 times out of 10, sure. But being wrong 9 times costs nothing. Being wrong the 10th time costs everything. The evolutionary psychiatrist Randolph Nesse at the University of Michigan calls this the smoke detector principle. A detector should sound at the mere possibility of fire because a false alarm is cheap and a missed one is catastrophic. Fear works the same way. Your dread of the dark is a smoke detector left over from a world that no longer exists. Why darkness specifically, though? Humans are visual animals. Most of what your brain uses to navigate comes through your eyes. Take away light and you lose your primary defense system. Daniel Kruger, an evolutionary psychologist studying risk perception, has found people rate identical scenes as far more dangerous at night than in daylight, even when nothing else changes. Same street, same distance, only the lighting shifts and the perceived danger spikes. There's chemistry involved too. Russell Foster, a circadian neuroscientist at Oxford, has shown darkness doesn't just limit vision, it shifts your internal state. Melatonin rises, cortisol patterns change, your body downshifts, preparing for a vulnerability that once meant stillness and exposure, night after night, for hundreds of thousands of years. Put it together, a body chemically preparing for vulnerability, a mind primed to expect danger in low visibility. No wonder the dark feels different. You're not imagining a threat. You're running a program built for an environment where that threat was real. And here's the strangest part. Children fear the dark most intensely between 2 and 4 years old, almost universally, across wildly different cultures. Why that exact window? Because that's roughly the age a child begins wandering beyond arm's reach of a caregiver. Exactly the age a predator would find them easiest to catch. The fear isn't random. It's timed to matter most. Then it quietly fades as a child grows less vulnerable. You didn't learn to fear the dark from a scary story. The story only worked because the fear was already waiting for it. So what do you do with this? In a world with almost no predators left, the same thing humans have always done. You build light. Fire was arguably our first true technology, and its earliest use wasn't cooking. It was pushing back the hours when your ancestors were most exposed. Streetlights are fire's descendants. So is the hallway light you leave on without asking why. Maybe that's the real reframe. You've spent your life treating this fear as something you should have outgrown. But it isn't a failure. It's an alarm system that worked perfectly, every night, for ancestors who needed it to. The fact that it still fires proves it worked exactly long enough to get you here. Tonight, when you flip that switch off and your chest tightens for half a second, remember what that tightness is. It isn't fear of nothing. It's the last living signal from every ancestor who didn't survive the dark, passed down through every ancestor who did. You're not afraid of the dark. You're carrying 200,000 years of people who were right to be.